Unong ilam jonggeleng persya u Dr. Mukul Sangma mentagasngi ulalek banjurip yaki Corona Care Centers kibagantup haga step down hospital kemudian po Sauli IIM Mayurbanj Nongtmai Civil Hospital bad kapom lom CHC. Hagani kijinglek banjurip lasanran lang ya u Dr. Mukul daki para MLA kibagantup ya u ba HM Changplang ba Charles Pengrop ba Mahendro Rapsang Bat kumju Dr. M.M. Prin Lingdo, bat ladon langru Deputy Commissioner jong East Khasi District, ikong Aisa Wanda Lalu. Kani kijing late banjurip, dah kani kakunhun kalong bantip ya kijing duna jong kitaki, jaka ay jung sumar ha kaba u Dr. Mukul ula peni bat ay jumot ya kibo district, bat ya katanar kakot kakya ban ay ya kijing syakri kababha nagam tagi paitba kajala, bat kumno banyada ya ka jengwan ban sapyang jong kalam jingpang COVID-19, Kamtam lele ban long ki belapun kre yo don biang ke jingwan ban lincher jong kani ka klam kebangi jutip benta kum ke third wave. U Dr. Mukul ulong ba kani ka longkat kum ke jingkmi bnya ya ka por ki belalait ha ka ba don kanu ke jingpang ka ba dei nute uknyang jingpang ka juki im biang na ka por sa ka por. Ulapun pau ya ke jing so bnya holo ke jing listing jo ka sarkar jela ha ka ban ai ya ke jing kersan ka bedon kam ya ka tan ka kot ke kya ha ka por ka ba dei bat ke jing kersan ki ba ki la aru da ka sarkar ya ka tan ka kot ke kya ki long ki bambiang.
In continuation to our review meeting which was convened by the Honorable Speaker, where important observations were made and all the concerns were shared with the government. And in view of that, what has been done and what was assured and what has been fulfilled, we wanted to at least know from the ground zero. That's why we definitely needed to go to the ground zero. We went to Giant Jails yesterday. Today we are here. Now certain necessity of ramping up the infrastructure related requirement were required to be done. What we have seen is that it is in the process. Still it is in the process. Whatever has been created are there, but what was needed more to save precious lives and to generate that kind of confidence amongst the frontline workers, they are still in the process of implementation. That is one part. Even as you see today, I think all those facilities for oxygenation and other things are still in the process. We have only tried to look at another aspect which is very crucial for us. Now, hopefully from the trend that we see, the second wave should slowly flatten. But what is on ground zero in rural areas is a matter of concern, because yesterday when I spoke to a few headmen of few villages and tried to know what is happening in the respective villages, I was little disturbed to hear that the village had number of members of the families were down with fever. Now there is a reluctance from people to come forward to get testing, to get themselves tested, and at the same time, the kind of conversation, the engagement with the community, which should be done in a more aggressive manner, is probably wanting. This is what I foresaw. I spoke to the concerned DCs of quite a number, 2 districts, where I received this information. So here we cannot have any sense of complacency. We need to have some auditing of every village. We have a system in place. We have the disease surveillance system put in place. It has been there for donkey's years. It is one of the most vibrant disease surveillance systems in the whole world. Therefore, it should be activated much more aggressively to know what exactly is happening in every village. Is there a reason for us to worry? Are there incidents of any cases which give us reason to believe or suspect incidents of COVID-19 in those villages? And therefore, that will give us a clear picture. That is what we have discussed. We have discussed with the district administration that is of crucial importance. Otherwise, the virus will be in our vicinity, even though we have the that perception that okay, the second wave is flattening, it's declining, so it's time for us now to restore our normal life. then suddenly you have the viruses in our vicinity, in the rural areas, it will come back. So in order to ensure that it doesn't happen, the proper auditing of every village is important. Since the virus has entered, since we are still at war against this virus, therefore if the enemy is in our vicinity anywhere, we have to be very, very clear. Only when we know that, okay, there are no more enemies hiding anywhere, then we know what to do. So this is one crucial aspect which we have shared with the district administration. We'll continue to do so. Tomorrow we are visiting Rivoy and we will discuss this. And we are also trying to know from the team, the whole frontline teams led by the here in respect of Civil Hospital Shillong, led by the superintendent of the Civil Hospital, how they are dealing with the cases and what is the trend. Now the trend is that when you look at the death count, which is alarmingly high, which is quite disturbing, we shouldn't have lost so many precious lives, keeping in mind the proportion of the death count to the number of positive cases. Now why is this? We need to actually understand so that we can prevent it. And when I looked at the number of those fatality, most of the cases where the patient has succumbed to the disease happens to be such that it has happened maybe on the same day of the patients having been brought to the hospital, or within 2 days, or within 3 days, or within 4 days of having been brought to the hospital for treatment. That means the patients are being brought only after the progression of disease has taken substantial toll on the patient. So the team here are unable to resuscitate and cure the patient, resulting in loss of precious lives. This is a matter of concern. Now why this is happening? It can be because we did not have enough institutionalized quarantine centers, enough corona care centers, and another part is because of the home isolation strategy, wherein the patient and the patient parties are not being able to probably communicate properly or are not communicating properly. It can be either way. Either they are not willing to share all the information or they are not being able to share the information to get the correct advice as to when they should be bringing the patient to the hospital. So this is one area which we have discussed. The concerned frontline workers under the command of the DHS and the respective deputy commissioners, I hope they will address these issues. As I have said, there is a robust disease surveillance system. What will be required is to only further activate the existing disease surveillance system and also further strengthen the whole system. In addition to that, what is very important is that, see, we have all gone through the record of the past pandemics that has confronted the mankind in the preceding centuries. The behavior, the way it has taken the whole mankind by surprise, element of surprise associated with every pandemic. From that behavior and those informations, we can only presume and assume and be apprehensive of the third surge, the third wave. Now, how the third wave will ultimately manifest itself is always going to be something which should be kept in mind, and we should always be prepared for element of surprise, and therefore we should be always prepared to deal with the chances of any third wave coming, and which bracket of the age group will be the likely victim of the manifestation of that third wave of this COVID-19 disease, and how we should be prepared. Therefore, since preparation is happening now, it is only appropriate that this whole preparation is designed to deal with the third wave. Let us be very frank. Preparation are still on, okay, not completed. So it is only therefore appropriate to look at how we can appropriately align the design and integrate all those interventions that is required to deal with the third wave, where we apprehend the younger group of our population to be the likely vulnerable group. With the kind of inputs that we are receiving from other parts of the country and other parts of the world. That's the reason why we are also demanding that there must be aggressive vaccination. The vaccination which must be universal vaccination. You see, the country has already had this wealth of experience in as far as vaccination of the targeted population across the nation is concerned. We have demonstrated as a nation for the whole world that India is capable of inoculating vaccines to the whole population. We have a very robust system put in place. And since our vaccine that is being used do not have the challenge of such a government and the union government to aggressively put in place all the measures to complete universal vaccination, free of cost. It's a notified disaster. COVID-19 is a notified disaster. Therefore, prevention of the recurrence of this must be assumed upon themselves as government as per the responsibility vested upon the authorities by the Disaster Management Act 2005. Mitigation, prevention. These are integral part of our approach to deal with any disaster. Therefore, vaccination must be there on time. We will still talk to the government, will still put pressure as maybe felt needed to ensure that this happens.
Shortage of vaccination.
Then another part. Yes, that's why we are saying shortage. How to overcome the shortage must be taken cognizance of and addressed in the right perspective. Then another aspect is the manpower. Now you see, to handle the ICU when the patient needs this critical care, and even to operate the ventilators, you need trained manpower. Otherwise, you will have ventilators and which are not used, oxygen and ventilators which cannot be operated. So the manpower aspect has to be taken cognizance of, and this is what we have discussed with all the frontline workers, whether it is Civil Hospital Shillong, whether it is in the district civil hospitals. This is one crucial aspect which should be taken care of. We have very limited anesthetists. Okay. Therefore, to further ramp up this manpower who are able to deal with all this operation of ICU and then ventilators, etc., is a matter of urgency, and this aspect has to be immediately addressed. I hope the department, along with the respective hospitals, will have this auditing of the manpower and take corrective measures and ensure that we don't ultimately see that, okay, we are weak there. How do we now ramp up our manpower? It cannot be done overnight. That's why it has to be done in advance. In other words, let me say, we are apprehensive of the impending third wave and the way the virus will manifest. The target groups of the virus, maybe from what we see elsewhere in the world and even in other parts of the country, is that the younger bracket of our age group are falling prey to this COVID-19. Therefore, if our young beloved children become victims, are they prepared? Are the facilities created to deal with the pediatric cases? This is what has been discussed, and so that's what I've said. When they are preparing now, since they have not completed, they must take into consideration the associated challenges of the younger group of our population who can be likely the victim in the third wave. That means if the likely targets are the pediatric patients, they have to be appropriately prepared, and therefore they have to put every system in place which is not there at the moment. That means virus will continue to circulate around us and attack us at will. So therefore, if you want to defeat this enemy, the virus, the COVID-19, therefore you will have to have universalized coverage in as far as vaccination is concerned. Every citizen must be vaccinated, including the children. So all those necessary advanced measures, what is required to be taken, must be done by the government in due course of time. Here also we have looked at this. How many frontline workers are backing up each of the respective team assigned with respective areas and associated responsibilities, and whether the teams feel that they have enough manpower or not. That should be heard from them and accordingly captured and accordingly addressed. That is how it should be done. Now, if you are running this hospital, I have to ask you, is it enough? Based on what you foresee and based on your experiences that you have gone through, if you say that it is not enough, then we must be able to do good to those deficiencies, whether it is in respect of manpower, whether it is in respect of other facilities, whether it is in respect of even supporting by other departments, because it's a war where you do not fight by only one particular department. It's a complete collective resolve which should be coming forward.